Hello, my name is Corey Rodriguez, and I'm here with the actors of Tomorrow's Hope. Why don't we each introduce ourselves and who our character is in the film?
My name is Nicholas Colvin, and I play Ben.
I am Adriana, and I play Rachel.
Demetrio Phillips, and I play the head bad guy.
My name's Winston Savis, and I play Carl Hertzfeld.
My name's Isaiah Pena. I was the director, and I played a cameo role.
Awesome. Okay, so Nick, I have a question for you first.
Yes.
You've acted before, right?
Yeah, I did theater in high school.
Awesome. Was this any different than any of your previous acting experience?
Definitely. I'd say like the biggest thing was the time constraint, like the timetable we were working on, because it was only 48 hours. The process was very condensed. We didn't have a lot of time to rehearse our lines and things of that nature. So,
Right.
if it was the biggest difference, would probably be just the amount of time that we had to finish the film.
The crunch time?
Yeah, the crunch time.
Okay. And Adriana, I've understood that this was your first time actually being on camera or in front of the camera, I guess, opposed to a live studio audience.
Absolutely, it freaks me out a little bit, but it's pretty nice. You know, in the beginning when I was in front of the camera, I was so excited I couldn't contain myself. But so it was really interesting. But turns out I did okay. So.
And Demetrio, this was your first time acting, yes?
Yes.
Okay, what was it like being, for the first time, like acting, period?
It was cool. I mean, I didn't really notice that we were on camera while we were out there, but then when you go back and see the finished product, you're like, wow, that's how it turned out. So,
Did you
I
learn
enjoyed it.
anything as far as acting goes?
I feel like I'm still learning stuff as far as that goes. You learn as you
Awesome.
go on the job training.
And Winston, you played the voice of Hertz. What was it like being a voice actor?
It was unique. It was different. I was actually expecting to be just an extra, like just one of the bandits, but I was just sitting around working on the mask over there, and Isaiah, he just like called me in. And he's like, "Hey, Winston, can I see you in the radio room?" And I was like, "What I do? Am I in trouble?" And then he had me like go over the voice, like just had me like say a couple things into the radio. And
How'd you talk about sports?
yeah, sports. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, what's your passion?" And I was like, "Oh, football." And had me talk about the draft and all that. And then afterwards, he was just like, "Hey, I want you to do the voice for Hertz." And I was like, "All right, that's cool."
Okay, and I have a question for everyone to answer. With respect to acting, what do you think was the most challenging scene and why? Nick, just off the top of your head.
Most challenging scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there was going to be a most challenging scene, I'd say a scene where we probably had to do the most takes and we had a lot of cuts. So I'm going to have to go with the first scene where we're running.
Mm-hmm.
Like the finished product on that was cool, but then like when we were actually filming it, it was really intense because we had to do the slide thing. One of our producers wanted us to do the slide.
Right.
And then that hurt. So yeah, we had to do the slide, and then it was at night. We had to get lighting together. We had to make sure our lines were right. We were laying down in the grass. I don't like laying down in grass because there's like bugs and crap down there. So yeah, I'd say that was the most difficult scene for me.
Okay. Adriana?
I'm really trying to think, but I do remember when I had to have a lot of like different facial expressions. I really had to concentrate and adapt my thinking to really feeling what was going on throughout the movie. Like, for example, when I'm being handed the certificate, I had a lot of trouble with, like the expression I had to have to represent Rachel's excitement,
Right.
or her, her tired and, just being exhausted, but at the same time wanting to smile because you got what you wanted. So it's like you have to really get in, like, let's believe what this character I'm representing is trying to show across. And that was very challenging.
I can see that.
It was very hard, but I had good guidance. Yeah.
And so I understand that being the bad guy is probably one of the most crucial elements to a story. Was that challenging for you?
It
This
was
your
actually
first time.
fun.
It was fun?
I'm pretty passive and a good guy by nature, so it was cool to kind of switch roles
Switch
and
sides?
wild
Yeah.
out for a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome. And Winston, was it hard being a voice actor or trying to get your voice to be the right tone and all that?
Very. It was very hard. We did multiple takes. Like at first, I was more stern and like like kind of political with it, and he was just telling me like, you know, just try to be like just kind of edgy with it, and you know, you don't have to be so stern. So I kind of just did me, and it came out really good.
Keep doing you, Winston.
Oh yeah.
Isaiah, it's not being the director. It's not always easy to carry out your vision exactly. Was there any like certain tips or points of advice that you gave the actors to help that process?
Yeah, I mean, basically a lot of it because of the whole 48-hour film thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's different with having to deal with having to like direct actors because you're able to tell them exactly the lines they want and stuff. But when you have a 48-hour film strain, you kind of have to just like, that's not what I wanted, so you got to do smaller notes. So to help with that, I gave them their character backstory beforehand and told them kind of, and they had to be able to create the characters on their own.
Right.
So that was weird, is that like I had a little less like power when it came over the actors, but it was all like in the beginning. So like so then when they had their characters created, which they like, we had great communication skills. I loved like working with these people. And they were able to understand their characters basically with what I had told them. So when they would ever like not get exactly what I wanted, it was easy just to say like, oh, this word just needs to be changed just a little bit. It was like small tuning, and you guys understood yourselves very well.
Awesome.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rachel was very interesting when she was first introduced to me because I had to be a tough girl. You know, I came here and they told me to bring wardrobe. I didn't know what to expect because it was all, you know, on the dot. So I bring all these flowery dresses and I end up wearing like, you know, like my comfy boots and just the jeans I had on and a random black shirt. You know, so all that went out the trash. So it was really hard to be loving and caring. Like I thought she was in certain scenes, but also like very tough and like, you know, leader. It was hard to balance it out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Winston.
sorry. Yeah. To help me out with Hertzfeldt's character, who was it? Jonathan. He actually showed me a 3-Dog from Fallout 3, and that helped me out a lot. Like I just try to kind of get
So-
that persona.
Kind of gave you inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, as an actor, do you have anyone that really inspires you, that you have to set a standard that you want to live up to?
Wow, I definitely do. I mean, I really like. Who do I like watching?
Smooth.
Like to me, whenever I watch a film, I'm watching more than like just a storyline. I'm watching the actors, so I can take, you know, like some of the things that they do. So you know, I like Daniel Craig in his role as James Bond. So you know, I like to look at that. I really like Johnny Depp's like field of acting. Like he has a lot of different characters that he does. Edward Scissorhands, he was the Mad Hatter. Captain Jack Sparrow, all that stuff. That's great. I've really been liking Brad Pitt, like some of the work that he's been doing lately. George Clooney, you know, just I like to watch great actors do great movies.
Gotcha.
So like those emotional scenes and stuff like that, I like to watch that, the little facial expressions and all that stuff. I like to get that stuff, pick up on it.
And does anyone have any comments on what you think makes an actor great?
To be able to express emotion. To be, because when I every time I was, you know, in my character, I had to really, really focus on trying to feel and think and believe the way that person, you know, that was like my goal. When I said all the time, I'm gonna get into character. Okay, it's time to get into character. You know, I was really trying to like change the way my face moved into what I was trying to, what the situation was. So,
Gotcha. So it's not always easy to fit that mold like
not
right
at all.
away. all
And
that.
that's what
And so-
like actresses with really strong facial features. I like Angelina Jolie, babe.
I agree with her because like you have to get into your character to the point that when someone says your character's name, you're looking around like, oh, did they call me? You know, like you gotta
Right.
get into that character.
So you get really invested into that character, huh?
Yeah.
And I guess since it's like a 48-hour time span, that you have to be ready to just
You have
snap
to
in and
invest
snap out of
really
that
quickly.
character,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you have to invest like a lot quicker than if you were doing like a regular production, because like something else, you know, you get to look at the script. You know, you get time to develop a character. But because it was on the timetable of 48 hours, we had to develop our characters so quickly.
Right.
We had to be able to get into their head. Like Ben's like character is, you know, naive, and he doesn't really know a lot, and he's expecting, you know, like Rachel to lead him. So you just got to get into it quickly.
Gotcha.
And it was hard to get into that because you were so confident from the get-go, and I really had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. You know,
She did a good job, though. She
really,
says that, but she did a good
no,
job.
but I
Right.
really, like, for example, I had never had to practice lines, you know,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like we did. So I felt really awkward. I was like, am I doing this right? And then I got
Yeah.
comfortable. But seeing you so comfortable and you know, so like,
She was asking
it
a lot
helped a
of
lot.
questions. She was asking a lot of questions in the beginning, but she got it right. She did a fantastic job.
Blake
First person
actually
was
was very like encouraging. He would always tell me like, breathe in, relax, blah blah. He would tell me like,
Yeah.
calm down, or you know,
Our,
just think that you're
producer,
doing
one of
this.
the producers, very good.
Okay, so you guys cooperated well
Absolutely.
with the people behind. And Isaiah, do you have any input as far as the cooperation went?
To be honest, like in the beginning, the cooperation was kind of like it was finding where it was supposed to be. So like there was a lot of like loose ground in the beginning,
Right.
And but like once we're all like we all know each other very well, and we all understand what we're trying to go for in the end. And so like after like good talking through, everybody like we like basically attached together. It's kind of like we were like an open piece of clothing that had like two loose strings, and basically like once we talked it out, someone like just pulled those strings and it just like knitted itself
That's a
back
good way
together.
to put it. Yeah.
And it would just like everybody was working out well. Like like our producers were being able to help out the actors, and basically when we were all aware when someone was occupied with something else, and we made sure we knew that the responsibility they had next, and they would go ahead and set that responsibility up. So then when we got to there, everything was it was just a really good flow of things.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we're about done. Do you guys have anything else that you'd like to say before we wrap this up?
I'm sorry for what I said when I was angry. Hangry, actually.
Hangry?
I'm sorry
Oh,
for
yeah.
what I said when I was hangry.
What is
There we
hangry
go.
again? Can you remind us?
Oh, I got really hungry. Like we started Friday at 8 or 9, and then I didn't eat much until around noon or afternoon the next day. I ate like we had awesome tacos for breakfast. Like they just woke us up with tacos. That was pretty awesome. But then I got really hungry and I got really irritated.
Yeah, she did at one point during the second day.
I was
She
really
I guess that
irritated.
was one of the struggles with being an actor was the food.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's like-
I had to sleep on the
Feed
floor.
me.
No,
Oh.
that was bad. That was bad. I mean, I only got like 3 hours of sleep, but then I had to sleep. It was just a bad. It was.
Yeah,
I just
I
didn't
mean,
want to go to sleep.
I remember for the bandit scene, you know, I was one of the extra bandits, and I didn't know that I was supposed to be a bandit because I was supposed to be Hertzfeld also. So I came all preppy, you know.
Oh,
You were wearing
Had
Sperry's?
shirt.
He was wearing
Shorts and Sperry's.
He had to wear his
Give
jacket.
me
It kind
that,
of made him
like-
look like he was wearing a skirt.
right.
Yeah.
It was like that trench coat that went past the shorts.
Yeah, they went past the shorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody knew if he was wearing pants or not. It was like, what's
It was
wrong?
a very
with-
futuristic fashion.
Yeah, what's wrong with
choice.
this bandit? Is he wearing underwear? Or pants?
The
What's
Mad
going on?
Flasher.
Yeah. The Mad Flasher.
That was one of our jokes.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better cast. I mean, me personally, as like a director, I love to work with people who like have little to like no acting experience because they don't try. Like if you get someone who's experienced, like it's easier to get them to like get comfortable in their role. I always feel like when I've dealt with like veterans and stuff, they'll overact and all that. Whereas
Right.
these people, even though they say they're nervous, it's really easier to just tell them like, look, just start by being yourself, and then I will tell you which part of the character is not you. And they'll just be able to fix that part. Because there's like there's two ways you could get really good actors. You could get an actor who studies by finding how they relate to a character, because it could even be like the nicest person ever who has to be a stone cold killer. But no matter what, there's always pieces, because it's like being, just like with the film, like humanity, there are similarities. So he was bound to find a similarity between him and his killer character. And then the other actor is someone who can erase themselves completely, become a blank silhouette, and be able to build a character out from there. And I took the ones where like finding relations, and they all found him, and they all hit him right where we wanted them to.
Awesome. So we got some insight as far as acting goes and a general perspective. On a final note, what would you say is a character you felt was your favorite scene, or like you felt most comfortable or most you in as a character?
I'd say my favorite little bit, it's a very small bit, but my favorite little bit was at the very end when we're finally done with the journey. It's really, the cinematography was fantastic throughout the entire film, but it's my favorite part there because like the angle that we got and then the way that we had to line up, and she walked up and then I walked up and then I did this breathing thing, and it was just amazing. We had a nice view, there was a window right there. It was just, that was my favorite part. Like, and when I see that part on the film, like in the final version, it gave me chills. It was just like the music lined up and then the credits came right after that, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, that face pretty much summed up the entire weekend.
Yeah, like, it was like, we're done. So, yeah, that was, to me, that part was amazing. That was my favorite part. Even though it was small, it was awesome.
Also, why are your glasses on? What the heck? Like,
You know what, with
let the
these
camera
lights,
see your face.
I'm
I
Turn
know,
on.
these things are so bright.
Oh, come on, I'm putting up with it, and we're all okay.
You know, you got your shades over here.
I got my shades too.
He has his shades
Why
on
don't
the
we
side.
all
Right.
put
He has his shades on the side. So
Okay.
don't act like these lights on fire.
Well, I guess we have time for one more, and then
Well, I just want to hear their other favorite parts too, really quickly.
Well, I mean, my favorite part was because Hertz had 3 separate parts.
Right.
And my favorite part was the last part because like I could be me and just talk. So like that part actually came out the best out of all 3 of them. So
Awesome.
I say the limited role I had.
Right.
All of it though.
hitting me in the face with a bat.
Yeah, no,
I'm just kidding.
It was just like, it took me back to being a kid, just like playing cops and robbers and everything. Like you can just any moment turn into something else, and it just felt like youth all over again.
I like that.
Okay, Adri.
You know, when we were filming, I really was looking forward because it was one of the middle scenes, but we did it towards the end, where the fire. I really like that. I had really looked forward to that because it's kind of a little bit of an emotional moment that Ben and Rachel have in the
I think
film.
I even teared up.
Yeah,
But
it
that
was,
may have just been the flames.
exactly, and just the setting was so beautiful, and
Yeah, that was
and just the fact that the fire was the only thing lighting her faces. It was a very intimate
It was
scene.
an intimate scene, yeah.
Absolutely.
She was so excited to shoot that.
I
scene.
was so
She
I was
so
looking
excited.
forward to
Awesome.
it. I was like telling him we're gonna do so good at this one, blah blah, because we had a little bit of an emotional dialogue too.
Yeah.
So with this 48-hour time crunch, you had to be on the spot, you had to get into character really quickly, and it turned out a lot better than you expected. It was really emotional, it was a great process, and it was just awesome. All right, guys, thank you for coming out, and
Thank you for having us.
right, awesome. Well, that concludes our show tidbit, what is this?
Roundtable.
Whatever this is, please take off your glasses. Anyway, we'll see you next time. Have a great night.